Good morning, everybody. This is the normal weekly update where I talk about what I've been up to, what I'm going to be working on, and answer any questions that you might have. So this week, I feel good about my progress. I did do a fair amount of scraping. I actually used the angle grinder here on the middle of this temporary cross slide, and then I scraped using the surface plate for printing. I scraped the edges of this piece, and I did get tired of scraping, so I took a little bit of a break from scraping. That's why it's not clamped up and riding smoothly in the carriage, but I took a break from that to do some other things just to mix it up for myself. That way I could keep going. I took a little bit of time to make this center punch. I used it on the vertical feed screw to transfer the center of that bearing, the vertical feed screw bearing, to the casting on the top of the spindle head, and that gave me a center to drill and to tap for the Acme feed screw. I made a bushing. This is 7.6 millimeters, which is the size of drill that's called for drilling prior to tapping with the Acme tap for the 3/8 inch by 12 Acme screw. So these are a couple parts that I had to make before I was able to work on the vertical feed screw. On the vertical lead screw, I went ahead and I have got it assembled, and so I'm pretty happy with it. I am using a 3/8 by 12 lead screw, Acme lead screw there on the vertical feed mechanism. The backlash I've measured at about 5/1000 of an inch, and it's tight. It's not binding at all, but it's a little tight to turn. I could probably back off either the gibs or the tension that I've got set with this nut on the top, and I think that would make it smoother, but for the time being I figure it'll wear, and I'm okay with it being a little tight to start out with. That seems to keep any kind of play minimum down here, so happy with how that's all fitting. And what I'll be working on coming up is the carriage feed, so still taking a little bit of a break from the cross slide, temporary cross slide, and that way I can focus on assembling the feed screw for the left to right travel of the carriage. And pretty much the way that's going to work, I'm going to use a piece of cold rolled steel and this self-aligning bearing mounted out here on the end, and it won't be as rigid as a fixed bearing like I've got up here, but I think until I get the mill up and going, it probably is the most expedient way to couple the carriage feed screw to the mill bed. So that's the way I'm going to proceed. Then I will switch gears back and work on the cross slide, getting it mounted up, feed screw, tapping the hole. So that's what I've been up to. And again, if you have questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I am going to change it up. Instead of doing the premiere, which I feel like doesn't add a ton of value for you guys, and it adds a fair amount of extra time for me, I'd rather just stick these out there as weekly update videos. Same deal, I'm going to put them in a playlist. Only the most recent one will be visible, but if you missed some and you want to see where I've been at in the previous weeks, you can follow the link in the description to the playlist and find older weekly updates. I hope you have a productive week, and I look forward to sharing with you what I've been up to this time next week. Thanks.